The Girl Who Taught Me to Breathe Again. Narrative, immersive, emotional. The Collapse. Ryan Matthews had always been a man with a plan. He climbed the corporate ladder with determination, wore ambition like a suit, and lived in a luxury apartment overlooking the San Francisco Bay. His days were scheduled, his goals clear, and his future seemed invincible, until the year everything fell apart. First, his father passed away unexpectedly. A heart attack took him in the backyard while tending to the roses. His dad had been Ryan's anchor, his quiet mentor, and losing him tore a hole in Ryan's chest. Then 2 weeks later came the layoff. His company downsized in the middle of an economic shift, and despite his years of loyalty, he was handed a cold severance letter and a handshake. But the final blow came that night. Ava, his fiancée, stood at the doorway with her suitcase. "I can't do this anymore," she said. "You're always drowning, Ryan. I'm tired of trying to save someone who won't swim." She left without a backward glance. Ryan sat in silence, the apartment suddenly foreign. He didn't cry. He didn't shout. He just sat there, breathing like a man trying to remember how. The departure. The next morning, Ryan packed a small duffel bag, turned off his phone, and walked out. He had no destination, just an overwhelming need to leave. At the station, he bought a one-way train ticket to anywhere the tracks would take him. He boarded a late afternoon train heading north, watching the city disappear behind him as the coastline emerged in the distance. He didn't speak to anyone, didn't read. Just watched the outside world blur into something quieter. Somewhere between Oregon's pine forests and foggy shores, the train stopped in a town that didn't even seem to have a name on the board. He got off. The town without noise. The coastal town was small. One street, a few cafes, an old bookstore, and the beach that stretched into the gray horizon. Ryan checked into a modest inn run by a woman named Norma who didn't ask questions, just handed him a key and said, "You look like you need some rest." He spent his days walking the shore barefoot. He didn't want to be found. He didn't want to think. He just needed time to be still, to feel less. That's when he saw her. The girl on the bench. She sat on the same wooden bench every morning, right where the sand met the rocks. Her name was Lena. She sketched the sea, people, seagulls, sometimes nothing at all. Her hair was tied in a loose braid. Her smile wasn't loud, but it was real. For 5 days, Ryan walked past her. On the 6th, she looked up and said, "You've got the face of someone who forgot how to breathe." He stopped. "I'm sorry," he said. She pointed at her sketchbook. "I've been drawing you. Your face has weight, but not in a bad way. In a quiet way." He didn't know how to respond. "I'm Lena," she said. "Would you like to sit?" And so, he did. The conversations. From that day, they began meeting. Every morning, same bench, 2 coffees. Some days they talked for hours. Other days, not at all. It didn't matter. Ryan learned that Lena was an art teacher at the local school. She had battled anxiety for years, crippling, suffocating episodes that once made it impossible to leave her home. But instead of hiding, she painted. "Painting doesn't cure it," she told him once. "But it reminds me that I'm still here, that I'm still breathing." Ryan shared little at first. His pain was too raw. But over time, he opened up. About his dad, his job, Ava. He never cried in front of her, but she knew when he was on the edge. "People think healing means forgetting," Lena said once, sketching the sea. "But healing really means learning how to carry the pain without letting it drown you." The spark. Their connection grew quietly. There were no grand gestures, no declarations. Just warm silences, gentle laughs, long walks, One rainy afternoon, Lena took him to her studio. Her paintings were chaotic and tender. Waves, faces, skies, all pulsing with emotion. This one, she pointed to a canvas of a boy standing in the dark holding a lantern. I painted after my first panic attack. It's me, lost, but holding on. Ryan stood there for a long time, staring. She stepped beside him. You're allowed to feel lost too, you know. He turned, his voice low. But what if I never find my way back? She smiled. Then let me walk with you until you do. The offer one morning, Ryan received an email. His former company had a leadership position opening, triple the salary. They wanted him back. He stared at the screen. That life, money, deadlines, pressure, it was still waiting. But now he had morning coffees on the beach, painting sessions with Lena, and a silence that no longer hurt. He told Lena about the offer. She didn't beg him to stay. She simply said, "I'll never ask you to stay, but I hope you choose what lets you breathe, not what makes you hold your breath again." The decision? That night, Ryan walked the beach alone. The ocean roared. The wind was sharp. But he felt something he hadn't in a long time, clarity. He turned down the offer. Instead, he walked to the town center the next day, signed a lease, and opened a tiny art cafe with Lena. They called it the Breathing Room. The new beginning. The cafe wasn't fancy. Mismatched chairs, local artists' work on the walls, poetry readings on Fridays. But people came. They came to read, to write, to sit, to cry. It became a haven for the broken, the healing, the hopeful. One evening, as they cleaned up, Lena stood at the window watching the stars. Ryan came up behind her and whispered, "You didn't save me, you know." She looked back. "I didn't?" "No," he said gently. "You reminded me that I was worth saving." Epilogue. Still breathing, years passed. The breathing room grew. So did they. They never married. They never needed to. They lived by the ocean, painted walls with dreams, wrote each other letters even when they were in the same room. And every now and then, when Ryan stood on the beach breathing in the salt air, he would remember the man he used to be, the one who forgot how to breathe, and he'd smile. Because now every breath felt like home. The end. For more interesting videos, please visit our YouTube channel and subscribe for our motivation. Thanks for watching. Stay. Connect for us interesting stories.